Eu te desafio a você ficar até o final desse vídeo. O que você está prestes a ver não é sobre basquete. E muito menos sobre motivação. Mas é algo que pode de fato mudar a sua vida. Você está prestes a entender qual foi o grande segredo por trás do sucesso do Kobe Bryant, que no caso é a Mamba Mentality. Eu sou o TH e nesse vídeo você vai conhecer um pouco mais uma das maiores lendas que teve na NBA, Kobe Bryant. E você vai entender o segredo por trás do seu sucesso, a sua obsessão.
For me, emotionally, to be able to put myself in a place where I switch my mind to something else, switch my mode into something else. For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time. You gotta put yourself in that cage. When you're in that cage, you are that character. And then when you leave there, it's something completely different. But when I'm in that cage, bro, don't fucking touch me. Don't talk to me.
When you reflect on Kobe and his memory, what stands out?
Man, his realness. His realness, man. He was misunderstood, man. I asked him one time, Matt, I said, man, why are you such an asshole? I asked him that. And he said, you really want to know? And he said to me, he said, Phil, man, some of my teammates don't understand the work. He said, so I see dudes walk into practice 10 minutes before practice and they leave right after. Why the fuck am I gonna pass them the basketball? I don't respect their work ethic. I'm in here busting my ass every day, trying to perfect my craft, and these dudes don't want to work on their game. I don't trust them.
But like I said, getting a chance to play with him and seeing his day in, day out preparation, how hard he worked on his game, getting up in the morning and hitting the track and the weights, and I mean like it's still dark outside type shit. Like he was just, I say like an evil genius, you know what I mean, like a beautiful mind. Like he was so obsessed with being the best.
So I get to the gym and Johnny Dawkins looks like he lost his dog. Like I've never seen this guy look so just disheveled. I'm like, JD, what's going on, man? And he's like, man, fucking Kobe. This guy had me up at 6 a.m. this morning. He was in the gym for 3 hours and he said he was doing the same move for 3 hours. The guy was just maniacal about his work. It's incredible.
And this is when I knew Kobe was a monster, though. You hear about it, but if you don't see it, you really don't know. And so we get into a city, one of the cities very late, and immediately we all go to the gym. And so after we get done getting our work in, me and my guys, we say, hey, let's meet for breakfast in the morning. We probably get 3 hours of sleep. We wake up, we go down to where the food is. As we walk it down, slubbing with sleep in our eyes, Kobe Bryant is sitting there with ice on his knees already, right? So we walk up to Kobe, we like, Kobe, what's up? And he was like, yeah, man, I just finished the workout and I'm about to go do another one. And at that moment, I was like, wait, hold on. We just worked out about 3 hours ago, you know what I mean? And you've done another workout and you about to go do another one? That's when I was like, okay, I got to get my stuff together. I got to get my shit together. Because this dude right here is on a whole different level than even I'm on, and I'm supposed to be great.
He took me out to eat, and I said, what you getting ready to do? I'm going to the club. And he said, I'm going to the gym. And that was him. That's what made, that greatness. That's where that greatness came from.
His grind was sickening.
And he wanted to be the next Michael Jordan, if not better. And
what made him so tough? Just his relentlessness,
His mentality to just seek and destroy. Anytime his jaws get tight right there, you know he's trying to shoot at least 25 attempts.
The most competitive player I ever played against, like by far.
It's KOBE BRYANT, man, the best that I ever played against.
One thing I will say is that I've seen him come from that young boy to take over the league.
I mean, I think on some level we all feel like we haven't given our all or our best in everything we've ever done. Whether sometimes it's at home, whether it's at work, with our job, with our hobbies, whatever it is. And there was something about KOBE that I think reassured us that it's possible to give every ounce of yourself and literally exhaust yourself to be great at what you want to do, to be great at what you love to do. He often spoke of the sacrifices it required to do that, though.
Agora me diga uma coisa, quando foi a última vez que você ficou obcecado em fazer algo? Existem tantas formas de eu falar sobre o KOBE, e ele foi um dos maiores jogadores que já passaram por toda a NBA. Ele já foi campeão 5 vezes da NBA. Até o momento desse vídeo, ele é o 4º jogador que mais fez pontos em toda a história da NBA. Mas todos esses títulos só vieram por conta da sua mentalidade. O KOBE, ele nunca teve talento, mas ele sempre foi obcecado.
Scored 1 point the entire summer.
Really?
Not one.
How old were you?
11, 10, 11.
And you're playing against other 10, 11-year-olds? Or you didn't score once?
Not one.
Were you in the game?
I was in the game.
How did you not score?
Because I was terrible.
Really?
Yeah. I remember crying about it, being upset about it. My father just gave me a hug and said, listen, whether you score 0 or score 60, I'm going to love you no matter what.
Wow.
Now that is the most important thing that you can say to a child. Because from there, I was like, okay, that gives me all the confidence in the world to fail. I have the security there. But to hell with that, I'm scoring 60. Let's go.
Right.
And from there, I just went to work. I stayed with it. I kept practicing. When I came back the next summer, I was a little bit better. Yeah, it wasn't much, but I scored.
And this is 12, 13.
12, 13. And then 14 came around, back half of 13, 14 years old. And then I was just killing everyone. And it happened in 2 years. And I wasn't expecting it to happen in 2 years, but it did, because what I had to do was work on the basics and the fundamentals. While they relied on their athleticism and their natural ability. And because I stick to the fundamentals, it just caught up to them.
So from 13, you're good, average still?
I was good. And then about the end of my, right when I was turning 14, I became the best player in the state.
14.
At 14.
So from 12 to 14, you went from scoring 0 to being the best in the state of all ages.
Yep. But it's simple. Like if you do the math on this, right? Like if you're thinking about how often kids are playing, right? I tell this to my daughter, and my daughter's team as well that I coach. It's a simple thing of math. If you want to be a great player, if you play every single day, 2-3 hours, every single day, over the course of a year, how much better are you getting? Most kids will play maybe an hour and a half, 2 days a week.
Right.
Do the math on that. It's not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done, right? So if you're obsessively training 2-3 hours every single day over a year, over 2 years,
you're accelerating.
You make quantum leaps, man. Show up every single day, do the work.
And this guy is the best. You're the best player in the nation for anybody in high school.
It feels good. It's great confidence, but you have to keep moving on. Cause I know a lot of guys who've been #1 in the past years, and it just fell off a cliff. So I have to keep working hard, and hopefully everything will work out. I'll be #1 in the future.
You also said that you want to play against Michael Jordan before he retires. He's only got probably 3 or 4 more years left, so.
I know he's an old guy. He's an old guy. But nah, that'd be something that I love to do because I watched him growing up. And Michael Jordan is somebody that I've always looked up to, and I want to play against.
Já deu pra perceber que o KOBE, ele não era um cara comum. Existem hoje cerca de mais de 500 jogadores na NBA. E por que esse jogador teve tanto destaque? A gente já conseguiu entender que é por conta da sua mentalidade obsessiva. E é disso que a gente vai falar agora. Uma das coisas que eu aprendi com o Kobe é que o que difere uma pessoa que tem sucesso para uma pessoa que não tem sucesso é basicamente a sua mentalidade. A obsessão vence do talento sempre que o talento não é obcecado. E isso me faz pensar, será que eu e você estamos sendo obcecados com os nossos sonhos, com as nossas metas, com nossos objetivos? Eu e você, a gente não precisa ser obcecado pelo nível do Kobe, que já deu pra perceber que, cara, ele fazia do basquete a vida dele. Mas a gente precisa ter essa essência de ser obsessivo com o nosso objetivo, que o sucesso e o fracasso dependem exclusivamente de uma pessoa, você. Assim como o Kobe deixou o seu legado, o intuito desse vídeo é a gente arrastar uma geração de pessoas que são obcecadas com o seu sonho. Pode ser qualquer sonho, desde comprar uma casa, até trabalhar no emprego dos sonhos, ou fazer uma empresa multibilionária.
Thoughts you're confronting, we've all been there when you feel like you're nothing. Shut that shit down, crush those thoughts and just trust me.
Confidence comes from preparation. When I'm prepared, I know what I'm capable of doing, I know what I'm comfortable doing, and I know what I'm not comfortable doing. You know, so when the game's on the line, I'm not asking myself to do something that I haven't done thousands of times before. And so in those moments, if it looks like I'm ice cold or not nervous, it's because I've done it thousands of times before. And so it's one more time.
But I remember we were playing against the Lakers, Tom, and we were out here in LA. And, you know, like I always try to outwork people, right? That's just how I made my mark. So the game was at 7. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come to the Staples Center because we're playing. This is when the Lakers had Kobe and Shaq. Right. Okay, this is like the championship Lakers. I was like, you know, I'm going to get there at 3 o'clock, and I want to make sure I make 400 made shots before I go back into the room, and then I sit in the sauna and I get ready for the game. So, you know, get in the car, get to the gym, get there, and as I'm walking onto the court, who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant, already working out. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's Kobe. What's up, Kobe? You know, and you know, so I put my sneakers on and. Do you ever get lost in what you do where you end up like, wait, it's been an hour and a half? Like I'm here, I'm in it. So once I set my foot across that line, I started working out. And so I worked out for a good hour and a half. And when I came off, after I was done, I sat down and of course I still heard the ball bouncing. I looked down, I'm like, this guy's still working out? He was working out for like, it looks like he was in a dead sweat when I got here. Right. And he's still going. And it's not like his moves are nonchalant or lazy. He's doing like game moves, right. You know? I sit there and I unlace my shoes. I'm like, I want to see how long this goes. So I sit out there and watch 25 minutes. And he got done. I was like, okay, I think I've seen enough. Go play, you know, come back, get in the sauna, get ready for the game. That game, he drops 40 on us, Whoa. Okay? And after the game is over, I'm like, I have to ask this guy. Like, I have to understand like why he works like that. Right. So after the games, I'm like, hey, Kobe, like, why were you in the gym for so long? He's like, because I saw you come in, and I wanted you to know that it doesn't matter how hard you work, that I'm willing to work harder than you. Wow. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not saying I dislike you as a person. You inspired me to be better. Right. And it was the first time I started to see this level of competitiveness where I said, I need to start doing more. Wow.
My philosophy was a very simple one. And this is where I think film plays a big part of my life. You know, Rudy was one of my favorite films growing up. Right? And if you guys haven't seen Rudy, I suggest you watch Rudy. After watching that film, I come to understand if I could work that hard every day, with being blessed with the physical tools that I have, what would my career be? And I made a promise to myself from that day that I was going to work that hard every single day so that when I do retire, I have no regrets. And that was the most important thing for me, is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, you know, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but if you live your life to just get better every single day, if you do that for 20 years, I mean, what do you have? And if you got to get up every single morning and remind yourself how hard you need to work, probably need to choose a different profession, you know, because that shouldn't be there. I wake up in the morning excited to get to it. You know, if I'm not training, I'm missing it. If I'm not watching a game of basketball, I miss it. You know, there's no place I'd rather be. And if you have that feeling, then you're truly doing what God has put you on this earth to do.
Like you said, I'm going to get up at 4. Everybody's get up at 6. If everybody's going to get up at 4, I'm going to get up at 2.
Right.
Right. How do you develop that, or where do you learn that from?
Well, I think it's just, you know, it's just a matter of what's important to you, and what's important to you for whatever reason. You know, I felt like I didn't feel good about myself if I wasn't doing everything I could to be the best version of myself. If I felt like I left anything on the table, it would eat away at me. I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror. Right? So the reason why I can retire now and be completely comfortable about it, because I know that I've done everything I could to be the best basketball player I could be. And so that's where it comes from for me. You can't leave any stone unturned. You're going to show up to play, and you're going to lollygag through this scrimmage, through this drill. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to let you know I beat you. I'm going to want you to reconsider your professional life choice. If your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train, right? You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2, you have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8, right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions. Right? Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? Relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4, right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up because they're 5 years behind. Right? So it makes sense to get up and start your day early because you can get more work in.
Is that genetic? Or is that something you ingrained and trained yourself?
No, it was
Who
just,
taught you that?
For me, it was just common sense. Like I can if I start earlier, I can train more hours, and I know the other guys aren't doing it because I know what their training schedule is. Right? So I know if I do this consistently over time, the gap's just going to widen and widen and widen and widen and widen, and they won't be able to get that back. So to me, it was just common sense. I'm like thinking, how can I get an advantage? Oh, start early.
Mas, TH, como que é possível eu aplicar a Mamba Mentality na minha vida? Porque a gente percebeu que o Kobe ele era jogador de basquete. Então faz sentido ele ter esses treinamentos mais puxado fisicamente. Agora, eu que trabalho, sei lá, com um computador, eu tenho uma vida normal. Como que eu posso usar a obsessão para ser um ponto de partida para o meu sonho? O Kobe, ele treinava antes de todos, ele treinava antes de todo mundo treinar e finalizava depois que todo mundo já tinha terminado. Então ele era realmente uma pessoa obsessiva. Como que a gente consegue aplicar isso na nossa vida real? Exemplo, se você trabalha em uma empresa, como que você pode se tornar obcecado e se tornar melhor? É basicamente você ser diferente das pessoas e agregar mais. Por exemplo, se você trabalha com vendas, como que você usa a obsessão ao seu favor? Bom, uma dica que eu posso dar pra você, melhore os seus pontos fracos. Quando o Kobe entrou na liga na NBA, ele tinha as pernas fracas. Então, o que ele fez? Basicamente treinou suas pernas para ele conseguir jogar os 82 jogos. Então a minha dica é, melhore os seus pontos fracos, melhore ainda mais o que você já é bom. Quanto mais obsessivo com uma coisa você é, mais você vai ter resultado. E é isso que Kobe nos provou. Porque eu entendo que não são todas as pessoas que vão ser obcecadas, que vão ter esse nível de obsessão como Kobe, mas querem ter essa essência de obsessão, entender mais como que funciona a mentalidade. Então, para isso, aqui na descrição também, eu tô deixando o link de um livro chamado Os Segredos da Mente Milionária. Muitas pessoas que você já ouviu falar na internet, com certeza tiveram a mentalidade mudada por conta desse livro. Porque lá ele mostra as chaves do sucesso, comparando pessoas que têm sucesso e pessoas que não têm. Então tem uma mudança entre esses dois E o legal também é que nesse livro ele mostra o hábito das pessoas multimilionárias. Então você pode perceber que tem muita coisa que eles fazem que você não faz. Nesse vídeo você conseguiu entender que a obsessão foi o que fez o Kobe Bryant ter sucesso. Porém, agora você tem que escolher dois caminhos bem simples na verdade. Ou você continua com a sua vida normal, como se você nunca tivesse assistido esse vídeo, ou você decide aplicar tudo que foi mostrado para você com essa mentalidade, a Mamba Mentality. Ou seja, ou você decide ser obcecado consigo mesmo, traçando, definindo e mapeando todos os seus sonhos e indo obsessivamente atrás deles, ou você simplesmente continua com a vida que está.
E o mundo perdeu hoje um dos maiores ídolos do esporte. O ex-jogador de basquete Kobe Bryant, de 41 anos, morreu num acidente de helicóptero na cidade de Calabasas, perto de Los Angeles, Estados Unidos.
Outras 8 pessoas estavam a bordo, inclusive a filha de 13 anos de Kobe Bryant. Não há sobreviventes.
He used to call me, text me, 11:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Talking about post-up moves, footwork, and sometimes the triangle. At first, it was an aggravation. But then it turned into a certain passion. This kid had passion like you would never know. And it's an amazing thing about passion. If you love something, if you have a strong passion for something, you would go to the extreme to try to understand or try to get it. Either ice cream, Cokes, hamburgers, whatever you have a love for. If you have to walk, you would go get it. If you have to beg someone, you would go get it. What Kobe Bryant was to me was the inspiration that someone truly cared about the way I played the game or the way that he wanted to play the game. He wanted to be the best basketball player that he could be. And as I got to know him, I wanted to be the best big brother that I could be.
Infelizmente, Kobe Bryant nos deixou em 2020 em um acidente de avião, onde junto com ele morreram 7 pessoas, inclusive a sua filha, Diana. Entenda uma coisa, o Kobe se foi, mas a sua mentalidade e tudo que ele ensinou nunca será esquecida. Se você chegou até o final desse vídeo, significa uma coisa, cara, que você conseguiu absorver o conteúdo e entender como que o Kobe de fato chegou no sucesso, de uma forma bem óbvia, né, que já dava pra perceber que ele era muito diferente de todos os jogadores que já pisaram em quadra na NBA. Agora eu vou te pedir uma coisa, se você realmente gostou desse vídeo e você realmente vai aplicar o que você aprendeu, clica no like aqui embaixo, porque quanto mais like ter, mais pessoas eu entendi que eu ajudei. E se você quiser fazer ainda mais, clica aqui embaixo e deixa seu comentário. O que você achou desse vídeo, se você ficou com uma dúvida e como que eu posso te ajudar. Esse foi o preço da obsessão com Kobe Bryant.